Good evening, everybody. Welcome to a new episode of General Non-Intelligence. Hope everybody's having a good December, good holiday season all together, and hope everybody's doing well. And welcome back. Thank you for listening, as always. If you, Hopefully, I'm going to update the website here before too long. Just really haven't been about it here lately, so I'm going to work on that. And as always, on all the podcast platforms, but got a couple topics today. First, Godzilla -1 was definitely really good, and it just kind of goes to show that a storyline, and I mean, while there was CGI and everything, it's not always about the budget. You know, it's also about the story, setting it up, writing, a purpose. Not always about explosions and things like that. Granted, I do enjoy some of those things sometimes as well. But it was a great movie in my opinion. I was surprised for the turnout, but happy for it. A lot of people don't usually go to movies with subtitles, in my experience, so I'm glad that they had a good crowd. It sounds like they're doing well. So if you haven't seen it and Godzilla interests you at all, then I would recommend checking it out. So, it's still out in theaters, I think, and I'm sure it has. It's only been a couple weeks, but went and saw it for opening night, and just great overall. I would not go into it expecting that it's going to be this, like Godzilla versus Kong or that level of CGI or anything, but if you're a Godzilla fan, then for sure go check it out. So, I would probably give it like an 8 or 9 out of 10. I never rate anything in 10, so that probably doesn't mean shit to the listeners, but just as I'm thinking about it, I figured that might have some weight to it. So probably an 8.5 out of 10. If that gives you any sort of idea of what I would think about that. It also had me thinking about just the emergence of anime. And anime is becoming pretty big over here. I say over here as I'm talking about the US, but obviously Japan has been the big home for anime for practically since, the beginning of time, as kind of the originators of where it came from, and a lot of the storytelling and elements are based on Japanese culture. So obviously it is deeply ingrained there. But with Disney, now granted, I haven't watched any. I don't know what anime is on Disney, but I read something a while back that there is, so I'm just gonna say that there is. If I'm wrong, then I'm just fucking stupid. I won't tell you. I didn't check. Sorry, but I heard that they were going to start putting money towards anime. Obviously, Netflix has One Piece, and not all of it, but a good portion of it, and they have some originals on there as well. I wish I remembered the name. I remember Ultraman, which has been around forever, but they had a newer version on there. Obviously, One Piece, the live action for One Piece. Sorry, I still haven't watched it. I will eventually do that. I'm bad at getting to TV shows that I say I'm going to watch, and I never have doing it. But point being, and then obviously Hulu, which is owned by Disney, ABC, that whole conglomerate there, has a huge source of anime. Crunchyroll still with their own, and a lot of the imports from overseas. So it's great. There was a pretty long time for it was taboo, I guess you would say, for anime. Me being someone who's not only house has covered it, but me myself, it's good to see. I'm glad that so many people are enjoying it, and I think that's starting to show with a lot of the anime movies. And Demon Slayer is coming out in new Demon Slayer movie, I believe, in March. So I think I remember something about them having a lot of. I remember the previous movies making a lot of money. I'll just say that. So that's good that that's happening. Happy for them. Obviously, One Piece. One Piece Red That sounds like a swimsuit, and it's the One Piece film Red. Did pretty well, and I'm pretty sure it broke some records overseas. But it's just good to see that it's branching out to other places other than just being central in Japan. So glad it's reaching more eyes and ears, and just happy overall that uh, I think people are starting to understand more that it's not just a cartoon. There's nothing wrong with cartoons, but I think people are finally starting to catch on to the storytelling, which the storytelling is fantastic, and hopefully that, sort of meshes its way into American television. Is the thing that I sorely miss over here, where it feels like we just not great at building stories or other things. So I feel like that could definitely be a positive. More new topics. Like, not really a topic, but I'm curious if anybody else has checked out their Spotify Wrapped. I'm sure they probably have. Did anybody find anything interesting they thought would not be or be on there? The one surprise for me is mine. Granted, Metallica has been one of my favorite bands since I was in high school as a teenager, but I was very surprised they were 5, I think, on my list for time listened to. But I didn't feel like I listened to that much Metallica this year. So I was kind of surprised by that. I'm not upset by any means because it's still one of my favorite bands. I was just like, really? Like, huh. Okay. That was really one of the main surprises for me, was Metallica. I don't think Linkin Park made it on the list, which is surprising too, because they've been another one of my favorites forever. I'm an idiot. I was going to tell you the results, and I'm over here searching in the wrong search bar for... I typed it into the Apple search bar instead of going to my photos where you can search for keywords and things. I was curious if I could just find it that way instead of having to look for it, but... Oh, here we go. Okay, I'm sorry. Linkin Park was number 3. Mitch Murder ended up being number 1, which it did a lot of my music. He's a synthwave artist who did a lot for the podcast, or not for the podcast, for the video game streaming and YouTube and everything. He does a lot of synth music that is not licensed, and he lets people freely use. So a lot of that is from that, and then I just enjoy it myself anyways. Tech 9 is on there at number 2. That's somewhat surprising. Linkin Park 3, Lil Wayne 4, and the Metallica 5. So, as I've gotten older, I've more and more appreciated Lil Wayne. It's just, I don't know what it was when I was younger. I just kind of thought it was the fad, and I think it's just kind of, as it's become almost unpopular, I've appreciated it more. Sometimes I just like that with music, but that was my top 5 artists. And then 27,000 minutes listened. Which I was on Apple Music for a little bit, so I don't think they do a Wrapped or anything. I was on there for a few months, so it's off by a little bit, but close enough. And if you don't have Spotify or anything, that's cool too. But if you have it, it's always kind of fun to look at that, kind of like your year in review. And apparently, PlayStation is doing one now too. I got an email of my PlayStation Wrapped. I haven't got the chance to look at it yet, but I'll let you guys know what that comes up with. That should be interesting. The hot topic on the interwebs right now of anger with the video game world appears to be for Game of the Year. The battle rages on between the Sony Bros. Sorry, that's just the term we call them, the Sony Bros. And then versus Baldur's Gate. Now, if you don't know, I have all consoles. I'm not and PC, obviously. So I'm not a homer for any of them. Try to enjoy them all for what they are. I have the PS5, the PS3, the PS2 over here, which actually the disk drive quit last night, so that's cool. Won't read PS1 games anymore, so I've got to either get a new PS2 or just get a new PS1, whatever. That sucks. I was wanting to play Resident Evil 3, the original, and apparently that's not going to happen. So that kind of sucks, but whatever. I'll pick up another one and be on the lookout for that. But yeah, anyways, Baldur's Gate 3. Now, I love both of these games. Baldur's Gate 3, Spider-Man 2. They're both great for very different things. To me, it's kind of crazy how upset everybody is about this online. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's like just a Game of the Year award. So, yeah, that's an honor for whoever's involved. But maybe a little bit overreacting there. And honestly, it's a bigger deal for Baldur's Gate in Larian Studios than it is for Sony, who's probably taken home the award, I'm sure, many times. I'm sure The Last of Us won it for one or two. But, yeah, there's a lot of upset people. A lot of sharing gameplay. A lot of people who just think that because Spider-Man is action-packed, which it is, and I love it, that it's automatically better than Baldur's Gate because it's a turn-based game. And people who don't enjoy that stuff, but yeah, the war rages on. I love Spider-Man 1 and 2 and Platinum both of them, and probably will 100% it. I 100% of the first one like 3 times, so I'll probably do that. And then I also loved it enough to have them both on PC as well, so I'm sure if Spider-Man 2 comes out on PC, I'll pick that up there too. But wow. Yeah, a lot of upset people. Kind of odd, but alright. And then the controversy with the voice of Kratos shitting on COD a little bit with his comments that his previous speech was apparently 8.5 minutes long, I guess, of the last year. Granted, I never watched the Game Awards. I always forget. I watch the videos and trailers and thing afterwards, but I never watched this live, so I'm just going off what I read. But he said he was referring to he had 8.5 minutes of dialogue last year, and the joke was that was longer than this year's COD game, Modern Warfare 3. Well, Modern Warfare 3 has been getting shit on since the beginning of when it released due to the short campaign, which from what I heard is like 3 hours or less. I have not played it, so I don't know that to be fact to test it out myself. But I think the bad press for Modern Warfare 3 probably speaks for itself. So in addition to Sony losing the Game of the Year and being mad, now everybody's mad at the voice of Kratos, which is, a Sony game in God of War, about his comments, and they're all upset. My point was being, I wish they were more upset that they've pretty much copy and pasted the same COD game for like 10 years in a row, it feels like, than they were about someone commenting about how short the campaign is. So I just think that's kind of funny that they're so upset about that, but they're not upset about him releasing an inferior product year after year. But that's cool, I guess. Yeah, whatever. Been watching a ton of collecting videos here lately. Once the spring rolls around again, hopefully to get more involved. I do, whatnots and things like that for some people I follow for video game auctions and everything. So I'm still trying to add to the collection and just find some long lost finds. So that's the goal. If you're interested in doing it, there's not, by the way, this is not an ad, this is not getting paid for this, but Price Charting is a good source. It's an app. You can search the game, find the edition. It will tell you, like, you can go to, hey, I have just a box and manual. Hey, I've had the game, just a game of the box, no manual. Or you complete inbox. You can go through, put in the game. It'll tell you, like, the last 5 that sold, like, on eBay or other sources, and then give you an estimated value. In addition to that, there's a tab there for collecting, which is very useful for someone like me who has accidentally bought some shit I already had. Because it happens. Not the end of the world, but, just so you don't get duplicates. Sometimes it's hard to remember, or you just kind of make stuff up in your head. So it's great to have for collectors, and I'll share some cool finds moving forward for what I find, and hopefully I can get some collections to grow mine, and I really need more space, but that's going to be a spring thing. hopefully to get a house where I can store all the stuff in my collections and all those dreams. So hopefully that's in the horizon. But I'll let you know anything cool. And also with Comic Con coming to March, hopefully I find some cool finds there as well and get to meet some cool people. So I'm looking forward to that. I would say that retro fever is definitely in full effect, though. There's the values of retro games is going up like crazy, especially with like GameCube. I know a lot of it's kind of affected by if there's a remaster or if there's a new game. Like if they add, it'd be interesting to see what happens if they add like GameCube online to the Switch, which has been rumored for a long time. But if that ever happens, it'd be interesting to see what happened. I know 64 games are pretty expensive too. There's a lot of, in general, for like PS2 games, it's usually the ones that did worse that are more expensive. So in other words, if a game didn't sell well, they just didn't make enough copies, it's going to bump up the price. So you never really know. There's some rare finds out there, and you just never know what you can come up with, and I'll share that. Hopefully, I mean, awesome. It'd be great one day just to be able to do that for a living. Go to different places and collect games. And I don't collect them just to resell. I want a lot of it just for myself, too. Just for fun, and I still play the stuff when I can. So, it's a labor of love. Which brings me to physical versus digital. I think we're almost, I keep saying this 100 times, but I feel like we're almost to the age where they're going to stop selling games on disc. Obviously, with the disc-only console, or discless consoles and stuff, it'll be interesting to see the next console generation if they have disc. For a while, I was like, yeah, I mean, digital is great because you can download stuff so easily, not have to go to the store. And I try to get some stuff on disc still. I mean, a lot of it too is all the sales they have, almost like every other week on digital. How easy it is to get it, and that's not always the case with disc. But sometimes you can find great deals on disc for almost brand new games too. So, I mean, I understand and love both, but I think more of me is going to start shifting to physical moving forward as well. So we'll see how that goes. Ideally, if I could just buy 2 copies of any game I want, one to open and one to seal, that would be great. If I ever get to that point financially, that would be sweet. I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but, it's good. Good in theory. So there's that. Another week, another Panthers loss. It's been painful to watch the Panthers play for quite a while. Obviously, the offensive line and everything else is not doing us any favors, but Bryce missed some throws and things don't look fantastic, to say the least. I was curious, I was talking about the Silent Night montage. By the way, if I pause, it's because I'm trying not to cough, just in case you were wondering. I'm curious what you guys think about montage. Is it a good or bad thing? If you don't know what a montage is, I don't know what the hell you're doing listening to this, but just curious about the montage, what you guys think. Hit me up with that. It seems to be kind of split down the middle. It's almost like a guitar solo. Some people love for the music to have solos in them, guitar solos, things like that. Some people just want that to not happen. So I'm interested. Some feel it kind of breaks up the tune and is unnecessary, but I can think of a lot of great guitar solos. I'm pro solo. Obviously, a song with just nothing but solos really isn't a song. It's just a solo, but I think you get the right idea. So interested to what you guys think about that. Let's try that again. In-season tournament is over for the NBA. Or wait, I think. Pretty sure it is. Pretty sure the Celtics got eliminated from it pretty wasn't early, but they didn't make it to the finals or anything like that. So I'm pretty sure the Lakers won because that's all I've heard about is LeBron in the in-season tournament. Now we're trying to act like it's something it's not. I mean, it's cool. I'm happy for the guys. Who it's going to mean the most to are the guys who make like the minimum in the league and don't make a lot of money, and that will be a game changer for them. So I'm happy for them, and that's who it really matters the most for. It'd be cool if the league would be able to do something for all those guys, but you never know. But yeah, the in-season tournament, I know we're severely overreacting. Our Lakers title favorites, all this nonsense over an in-season tournament. I'm just going to say, while I think it means a little bit, I don't think the in-season tournament means a whole lot to a lot of those guys. Especially the ones that make big money. Every game means something. I'm not saying they're out there throwing it. But let's not pretend like it's a playoff game. Let's not get out of control here. So that's all I'm saying. Good for them. I mean, I'm never going to like the Lakers. Sorry. It's just part of being a Celtics fan. So I'm not going to hype them up or anything like that. Sorry, the Lakers aren't winning any championships. I don't know what to tell you. If you're upset by that, sorry. But it's not going to happen. But I just want to kind of discuss that. The NHL said they're going to go away from that. A no in-season tournament. I'm okay with it. I mean, it kind of creates some stuff. I know the schedule has been weird as hell for the Celtics. I know so I have League Pass. I try to watch every game possible. I think we played the Sixers 3 times. Play the Cavs, the Cavaliers back-to-back games. Both in Boston this week. And then play the Magic back-to-back games in Boston as well. Just seems like the Celtics have a hell lot of repeat games, which could also be because of the tournament. It's just kind of weird. That seems like I know obviously division opponents, conference opponents, you play them more per year. I'm aware. I'm not that dumb, but I don't ever remember 2 back-to-back games both in the same town with the same teams. Usually, you'd be like, hey, it's in Boston one night. They play again in Cleveland the same night if it's close. They're not going to go coast to coast. And I'm not saying they're literally playing back-to-back nights, but just back-to-back games. It just seems odd to me. I did see a new Saw movie is going to be coming out next year. I believe they said around September. Saw 11. Hey, I mean, horror movies aren't everybody's thing, but hey, I'm excited for it. I don't know what to tell you. So I'm excited for that to see where that goes. I don't think they shared any details about what it's about or anything. But rest assured, I'll be there. As always. Love me some Saw, what can I say? And then Saw 10 was, as I discussed in the previous episode, I thought it was really good. So, anxious to see what's going to come of that. By the way, I'm watching AEW right now on my other screen. So, I'm trying not to mention anything that's happening here. Or just randomly yell when something happens on there, and it'll make no sense, but I know there's been all kinds of controversy between WWE and AEW here lately with tag team names and controversy and all this nonsense about they're going to go bankrupt. I think we're really jumping the gun there. There hasn't been an episode of Dynamite in a long time that I've been like, wow, that wasn't great. The only thing I could think of is Jericho and Luther, which was during the pandemic, no crowd, a lot of botches. But listen, life happens. Not every episode is going to be a 5-star. But I don't understand a lot of criticisms of AEW, where they say they don't build story and all this stuff. I kind of beg to differ. I understand that they usually don't do what WWE used to do, where they'd have a rivalry last several pay-per-views. Sometimes that happens, and it'll definitely happen multiple events. But I get it, in WWE, especially when there was multiple months. For instance, if there was a big feud for the title, you knew like Cena and Edge, which was great, by the way, a great rivalry going up. That would go on. I think that went on for like 6 months and then came back again. That happens sometimes in AEW, but they have. I mean, they're starting to add more and more pay per views, but their pay per views are usually were only 4 per year. So for a rivalry to last 3 pay per views was probably not going to happen. Now they're adding more and more, New Japan, World's End. I think they're starting to work on that, and that could either go good or bad. But I think just people are used to that model, and there's nothing wrong with that model. But I don't get the idea that they say there's no storytelling. I don't agree with it, but hey, whatever. Going to see Wonka tomorrow. I think it looks pretty good. I'll let you guys know what I think about it. I don't really have any high hopes or anything, but I thought it looked pretty decent. So I'll be excited to watch that and see where that goes. And I'm not sure if I'll be able to get another episode for the holidays, but I'll do my best. And then World's End is the 30th. Samoa Joe, and MJF. So, of course, I'm going to watch that, let you guys know what I think, and just kind of go from there. Hopefully you've been somewhat entertained. But happy holidays again to everybody. Everybody have good holiday season. Be safe. Enjoy the family. Enjoy the friends. The good food. Hopefully some good football on. So thanks everybody for listening, and have a good one until next time. Thanks.